Hey, truck update here. The final week that I have to build on this. As you guys may know, this is the Peerless 801 that was originally in the trike. Well, to find out, this trans spins counterclockwise, and the motor spins clockwise. So in turn, I have 5 speeds in reverse. So that didn't work, and I had a MST 205, at least I think it's an MST, trans that came out of my Murray Swamper that spins the right way. So I was like, you know what, screw it, take the trans out of here and blah blah blah, and then put this trans back in the Swamper, but cross the belt, like twist it, so it's spin counterclockwise. I could have done the same with that if the belt was longer, as in the distance from the motor, like the motor pulley and the jack shaft pulley were farther apart. So I just used this transmission, MST 205. I've already converted over to the MTD axles, which I'll show you in the 801 right behind me. I took the input shaft out of the 801 on here because I needed a longer shaft, because it just had the short shaft, so I needed a longer one. Originally, what I want to do is change out the shift arm to that one, because it's shorter, and that would work with how I designed my shifter on there. But I couldn't do it, so hang on. Let me get this gear down. I was wearing gloves through the entire thing, and now I'm not. So I kind of don't want to fuck with the grease, because it's high-grade marine grease. And this one, and in that one, I repacked that one full of grease, cleaned it out, and everything else. This one, too, also has the MTD axles. What I did in this one, which is pretty much the same in that one, I had to replace all 4 spider gears, which here are the ones out of this one. These 2 are for the, those 2, I can't think of what those 2 are actually called. And this one's to the shaft. Well, these shafts are splined on the end, and this one's tapered like that, so it's reversed. And then they're also different sizes, so in turn I had to change all 4. And this one I didn't have to use spacers, because this one was perfectly fine. In this one I had to use spacers. Here's the old spacer. You guys can see how thick that is. Well, it was binding up in there, so I had to find some other spacers for the axle size and do it that way. Well, now it spins fine. It spins fine. It does seem like it's binding up a little bit in here, but I'm hoping that's just because I changed the shaft, and it'll work itself in. Other than that, this transmission is going back in the trike today. I'm going to hopefully, without a shifter, I'm just going to hopefully put it in gear. I'm going to hopefully see if this thing spins the right way. Because if it does, good. I don't have to fuck with transmissions anymore, and it can be done. If you guys also see that the half moon key is right here. Sorry, the key slit. And the sprocket's up here. Well, I need the sprocket up here, so what I'm going to do is notch a flat spot in here for the set screws, so it won't spin. And I'll do the same thing on the jack shaft for the pulley and the sprocket after I get everything working as far as I want it. The brakes on this trans, well, I'm still going to be using the stock one. Just got to find a actual brake disc that is keyed. Because the one that was on that 801, well, the brake was on this side and it was splined. So I can't use that one, but I'll be able to use the mechanism for the Yeah, brake caliper. I'll be able to use that though, so I'm kind of glad about that. Speaking of brakes, front brake situation, I found a plastic rim that has the same bolt pattern for those pocket bikes. So I'm either going to use this rim instead and have front disc brakes, or somehow weld a hub to that metal rim so I can use that rim, because I would really love to use that rim. And then I would have disc brakes for the front and transmission brakes for the rear. And if the transmission brakes go out, well, you can always rely on disc brakes, like mechanical disc brakes, even though you're not supposed to, but I have a good feeling this thing will stop either one way or another. So without further ado, without me talking, do some movie magic. And next time you see this, the trans will be in the trike. Later.